top 10 attractions in Milan, Italy.
Duomo di Milano, Piazza del Duomo, Castello Sforzesco, Parco Sempione, Arco della Pace, Colonne di San Lorenzo, Arco di Porta Ticinese, Navigli, Via della Spiga, Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II.
Il Duomo di Milano, officially the Metropolitan Cathedral of the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary, is the cathedral of the Archdiocese of Milan.
The Milan Cathedral is characterized by an amazing quantity of sculptures.
Masters from many backgrounds worked tirelessly to create this unmatched collection of statues from the 14th to the 20th century.
Particularly at the start, with examples ranging from Campion masters to Giovannino da Grassi's austere methods, to then move on to the mellow and worldly style of the Bohemian and Rhenish masters, and of Michelino da Bisazzo himself, up to the examples of the Renaissance sculpture from the Baroque and Neoclassical periods. The Duomo in Milan was built over the course of more than 6 centuries, beginning in 1386 and ending in 1965.
The construction of Duomo di Milano began at the same time that Gian Galeazzo Visconti came to power in Milan. Visconti wanted the Cathedral Milan to reflect the most recent styles in Europe.
Candaglia marble was selected as the material for the Duomo di Milano's facade. A French chief engineer named Nicolas de Bonaventure added the Rayonnant Gothic to the Duomo di Milano in 1389.
The cathedral contains 55 monumental stained glass windows and an outstanding testament to the history of glass art from the early 15th century to the late 20th century.
Over the centuries, master glassblowers of the Italian, Flemish, and German schools collaborated in their production, often in collaboration with well-known artists who supplied caricatures for stained glass, such as Giuseppe Arcimboldo, Pellegrino Tibaldi and others. The Madonnina del Duomo di Milano, which was dedicated on December 30, 1774, is the church's tallest structure.
The statue has a height of 4.16 meters and was created by the artist Giuseppe Perego and cast by the goldsmith Giuseppe Bini.
The statues, buttresses, gargoyles and spears generally date from the time of his successor, Filippo Maria Visconti, up to the 19th century. In total, there are 135 spears on the rooftop of the Duomo di Milano Cathedral.
The square of Milano Duomo, also known as the Piazza del Duomo Milano or Duomo Cathedral Square in Milan, is a bustling and iconic square located in the heart of Milan.
At the center of the square stands the impressive Duomo Cathedral, a Gothic masterpiece that is the symbol of the city. The square is surrounded by historic buildings, chic cafes, and vibrant street performers.
The monument to Victor Emmanuel II is a national monument located in Milan, Italy.
It is situated on the Piazza del Duomo, in front of the city's main cathedral, the Duomo di Milano. The monument was built to honor Victor Emmanuel II, the first king of the United Italy, and was completed in 1911. There is a Starbucks Reserve Roastery located in Milan, Italy, on Via Carduzio.
The roastery is a unique and immersive experience that celebrates coffee, offering a variety of specialty drinks and food items. It is a place for coffee lovers to learn about and experience the art of coffee making from bean to cup.
Via Dante is a street in Milan, Italy, that runs from Piazza del Duomo to the Sforza Castle.
The street is named after the Italian poet Dante Alighieri and is known for its historic buildings and cultural attractions.
Along the way, you will also find a variety of restaurants, cafes, and shops.
The Castello Sforzesco is a castle located in Milan, Italy.
It was built in the 15th century by Duke Francesco Sforza, who intended it to be a defensive fortress and a symbol of his power.
The central tower that tallest of the castle, which constitutes the main entrance, is the colored Torre del Filarete, from the name of the Tuscan architect called upon to design it by Duke Francesca I.
The upper body has a circular arch that opens at the center of each side, allowing the bells within to be seen. A clock Visconti race, a statue of Saint Ambrose stands above, flanked by the coats of arms of the 6 Sforza Dukes of Milan.
A bas-relief in Candoglia marble with King Umberto I on horseback was placed immediately above the entrance arch. The castle was originally constructed in the 14th century as a smaller fortification, but was significantly expanded and renovated by Duke Sforza in the 15th century.
It was designed by the architect Filari and took more than 20 years to complete. Throughout its history, the Castello Sforzesco has served a variety of purposes.
It has been used as a military fortress, a palace, a prison, and a cultural center.
The castle features a number of towers, walls, and courtyards. It has also housed a number of important art collections, including works by Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and Raffaello. The Torre del Filari blew up in 1521. When it was being used as a weapons storage facility.
When Francesca II Sforza briefly regained control of Milan, he had the fortress expanded and rebuilt, and he converted a portion of it into a residence for his wife, Christina of Denmark.
To make Milan's guests and locals feel healthy and comfortable while visiting the Sforzesco castle, there is a drinking fountain next to the benches, where you can drink clean and tasty water for free.
The castle's main courtyard, known as the Corte della Armi, is used for various cultural events, including concerts, exhibitions, and performances. The Castello Sforzesco is home to several museums, including the Museum of Ancient Art, the Museum of Applied Arts, and the Museum of the 20th Century.
The Castello Sforzesco is also home to a number of artworks and historical artifacts, including Michelangelo's Rondinini Pieta and Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. The Castello Sforzesco is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized for its cultural and historical significance. One interesting fact about the Castello Sforzesco is that it was the site of a famous escape by the Italian patriot and writer Silvio Pellico, who was imprisoned there in the early 19th century. Pellico managed to escape from the castle by disguising himself as a soldier and sneaking out through a secret tunnel.
Parco Sempione is an English-style landscape garden.
Built at the end of the 19th century on the area previously occupied by the parade ground, it occupies an area of 386,000 square meters.
When I was shooting a video, the Milanese passing by stopped so as not to spoil the frames from the video for me. They were in the frame, but on the contrary, it made the video so cute. I love you, Milanese, and in general, I really like Italy.
Previously, the park was a forest composed mainly of oak and chestnut trees, and also inhabited by exotic animals introduced by man. The park, called Parco Sempione, was built between 1888 and 1894 according to the project of the architect Emilio Alamagna.
The Parco Sempione is adjacent to the gardens of the Sforza Castle and to the Arch of Peace, two of the main landmarks of Milan. Despite the fact that it is raining a little, I run to greet you, my dear viewers.
In 1807, under the Napoleonic rule, the Arch of Peace was built by architect Luigi Cagnola. When Cagnola died in 1833, his project was taken over by Francesco Londonio and Francesco Peverelli, who brought it to completion in 1838. On 8 June 1859, 4 days after the Battle of Magenta, Napoleon III and Victor Emmanuel II of Italy triumphantly entered Milan through the gate.
Now, let's go to the more ancient site of Colonne di San Lorenzo.
A collection of ancient Roman ruins known as the Colonne di San Lorenzo, or columns of San Lorenzo, are situated in front of the Basilica of San Lorenzo in the heart of Milan. The colonnade presently faces an open area and is mostly made up of 16 tall Corinthian columns arranged in a row.
The columns were brought here in the 1st century after being taken out of a structure that was perhaps a pagan temple or public bathhouse from the 2nd century.
Old buildings that abutted the church's facade took up the entire area between the building and the columns until 1935. One of the medieval gates to the south of the columns still bears remnants of Roman marble ornamentation.
It was suggested to destroy the colonnade to enlarge the path in the 16th century as part of the monarch King Philip II of Spain's triumphal entry into Milan. Ferrante Gonzaga rejected the idea.
The ancient Porta Ticinese is one of the 3 medieval gates of the city that still exist in modern Milan. The Porta Ticinese building, which dates back to the 12th century, was renovated in 1861 by Camillo Boito.
There is another gate also called Porta Ticinese in the same district of Milan.
Arco di Porta Ticinese is the gate, which faces southwest, was initially built as part of the city's Spanish walls in the 16th century, but the old building was later destroyed and replaced in the early 19th century. The new structure was designed by Luigi Cagnola in neoclassic style and built between 1801 and 1814. One of Milan's most notable instances of neoclassical architecture, the Cagnola structure is made up of enormous pillars and columns in the Ionic order and is topped by a big tympanum. In 1815, after the Napoleonic Wars, an inscription was added to the tympanum which reads Paci Popularum Sapati, in Latin, to peace that frees peoples.
The Porta Ticinese dock, also known as the Darsena, is a historic canal harbor located in the Porta Ticinese neighborhood of Milan, Italy.
In the 16th century, the Darsena was an important hub for trade and transportation in Milan and was used for loading and unloading goods from boats coming from other parts of Italy and Europe. Today, the Darsena is a popular destination for tourists and locals alike, with a number of restaurants, bars, and shops located along the canal.
The Navigli in Milan are a series of interconnected canals that were built in the 12th century to transport goods and people around the city.
They were an important part of Milan's economy and played a major role in the city's development. Here are a few interesting facts about the Navigli. The Navigli are made up of 5 main canals: the Naviglio Grande, the Naviglio Pavese, the Naviglio Martesana, the Naviglio di Paderno, and the Naviglio di Berguardo. The Naviglio Grande is the largest of the canals and was used to transport goods from the Po Valley to Milan.
It was also used to transport marble from the quarry in Condoglia to the construction site of the Duomo di Milano, the city's iconic cathedral, and to power water mills and sawmills.
The Navigli were originally used to transport goods by boat, but they also served as a transportation network for people.
There were many bridges and footpaths built along the canals, and people used to travel by boat between different parts of the city.
The Navigli were an important economic hub in Milan and were home to many businesses, including mills, warehouses, and workshops. The Navigli are a UNESCO World Heritage Site and are considered an important part of Milan's history and cultural identity.
Now let's go to the 2 most fashionable places in Milan. The first place is Via della Spiga.
Milan is known as a major fashion capital and is home to some of the most famous fashion houses and brands in the world. Via della Spiga is one of the city's most prestigious and well-known shopping streets, with a number of high-end fashion boutiques and stores.
The city is known for its high-quality, stylish, and innovation fashion, and it's home to many top designers including Giorgio Armani, Versace, and Prada. Milan is also home to major fashion events such as the Milan Fashion Week, which attracts buyers, journalists, and industry insiders from around the world.
In terms of specific fashion trends, Milan is known for its sophisticated, elegant, and refined style, which often combines traditional Italian craftsmanship with modern and innovative design. The city is also known for its strong emphasis on accessories, such as shoes, bags, and jewelry, which are often of the highest quality and can be found at many of the high-end stores on Via della Spiga and elsewhere in the city. Via Spiga is a street in the center of Milan, Italy, that is known for its high-end fashion boutiques and designer stores. Here are some interesting facts about Via Spiga. Via Spiga was named after a well-known street in the city of Spiga in ancient Rome.
The street was originally called the Via della Spade, Street of Swords, because it was the location of several sword-making workshops.
Via Spiga is home to a number of famous fashion designers and brands, including Prada, Gucci, and Ferragamo.
The next place that lovers of fashion and aesthetics must visit is the Victor Emmanuel II Gallery.
Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II is a mall, an arcade located in the center of Milan, Italy, next to Piazza del Duomo and Milan's Duomo di Milano. The Galleria is named after Victor Emmanuel II, the first king of the Kingdom of Italy.
It was designed in 1861 and built by architect Giuseppe Manconi between 1865 and 1877.
The construction of the whole gallery was the result of international collaboration. This especially concerned the roof. The ironwork was produced, transported and installed by the French atelier Henri Joret.
The glass plates were made of flat-ribbed glass by Saint-Gobain.
The construction technology of the roof employs primary wrought iron arches in order to support the glazing. The tops of the four walls are each decorated with a painted lunette, 15 meters wide at the base and 7 meters maximum high, which represents a different continent.
Here, Asia is represented seated on the throne where natives and other men with Asian features pay homage to her with gifts, painted by Bartolomeo Giuliano.
According to the municipal regulation, both historical and non-historic establishments must have the writing of gold signs on a black background. The Victor Emmanuel II Gallery in Milan also attracts guests of the city and local residents for a beautiful photo session. Here, in which direction you would turn, everywhere is a gorgeous view.
Due to the presence of elegant shops and clubs since its inauguration, it has been a meeting place for the Milanese bourgeoisie, so much so that it has been nicknamed the living room of Milan. Built in the Neo-Renaissance style, it is among the most famous examples of European iron architecture and represents the archetype of the 19th century shopping gallery. Simply called La Galleria by the Milanese, it is often considered one of the first examples of the shopping center of the world.